Hi everybody, welcome to Stand With Us on JLTV. Today's guest is ChenCohen, an animal rights activist from Israel, where things are really changing, and he is a big part of that change. So Chen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Roz.
We'll just get right into this. First of all, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be involved with animal rights in Israel.
Right, so I was studying computer engineering in Ben Gurion University in Israel, and then I found out that my brother and another good friend of mine has seen this talk and decided to go vegan. And then I realized that there are two people here that are, I appreciate their judgment. And I wanted to find out what is it about. And I did. And then I was very socially involved at that time. And after I found out about what animals are going through in factory farms, and I care a lot about animals. I love animals like most of us. I decided that I'm going to devote most of my free time to animal advocacy.
So we understand that then you left your engineering job. You had a good job in engineering.
Right. So after a few years, I was working for 2 years as a software engineer, and then an opportunity came through to do full-time job for animals and make a living out of it. And then I decided that, I want to make a living out of it. And despite, of course, that high-tech company is very good on conditions, I want to devote my full-time job, to animals, and help people to make more compassionate choices in their life, and save as many animals as I can, and spare them lifetime of misery.
So was there any one incident, was there anything that was special in your mind that pushed you over from being an engineer into being a, human rights, animal rights?
I think that it was gradually growing on me because I debated myself many times that I want to do more for animals, and it never felt like it's enough. But I also knew that I had to make a living and work, right? But the opportunity came through when I met Alex Hershaft, a Holocaust survivor and also an animal rights activist. He was visiting Israel. I co-organized his visit, and then he asked me to come and work for him in the United States for organizing the National Animal Rights Conference.
Wow.
So that was a great opportunity, and I'm very thankful for him for that.
So as a daughter of Holocaust survivors myself, I'm interested in that part of it. Can you tell us a little bit more about him?
Yes, Alex Hershaft is a very special guy. He's 83 years old. He's vegan for 30-something years. He is Polish. He was born in Poland, and he survived the Holocaust. And then when he worked as a chemical engineer, something like that, he was exposed to what slaughterhouses was doing, and then he saw some similarities. And then he read about Isaac Bashevis Singer, and what he said, that animals are suffering very much, and the comparison between the practices. And again, he also decided to be an animal rights activist, and he's one of the founding fathers of the modern animal rights movement in the U.S. as well.
There's so many things about animal rights that can really break your heart, and would make almost anybody consider being a vegetarian or a vegan. So it's interesting, and it always has been very important to me. As I told you before we began today, I remember hearing about how veal comes to be, and my whole family has never eaten veal. We just, boycott veal as a family. So that's an interesting piece, from just who I am and who my family is. And I told you also, my mother, a Holocaust survivor, always said, you can't eat unless you fed your animals first. You must take care of your animals before you take care of yourself, because they can't, you've got them, as a pet. You have an obligation. You must, and we call that Tsar B'Lachayim.
Yeah, Tsar Ba'alei Chaim. I think that you're very right. We're very compassionate and we worry for the weak. And animals in our society are the weak ones, and they don't have any rights, and they are the miserable victims some of the time. And I can very relate to what your mother said, and that's what led me into trying to do whatever I can to make their lives better, and again to spare them the lifetime of misery that they are going through in factory farms and in other places as well, of course.
So can you tell us anything that's going on in Israel that is inspiring about this issue?
Yes. Back in the 2000s, Israeli activists have exposed what's going on in factory farms regarding with foie gras, the forced feeding of geese and ducks, and the horrible conditions that they are situated in. If we're talking about Tsar Ba'alei Chaim, it's the most probably the most horrible thing, and today in Israel it's banned to produce foie gras.
It's banned. So
by law.
Foie gras is also a pretty crazy thing that people do. It is a torture of an animal. We're going to need to take a break really quickly for JLTV, and so please don't leave us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Stand With Us on JLTV. Just a quick reminder that we should be supporting Stand With Us and JLTV. Just want to remind everybody that in 20 or 30 years, we need to make sure that the young people of today support the State of Israel. And that is what Stand With Us does. It's a big part of our work, creating a movement that will stand up for Israel tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. So please do support our work and order our materials. We will send you each one of any of the items that you see on our website at no cost. Just say you were watching JLTV and you were promised one item for free. So we will be happy to do that. So back to you, ChenCohen, and all your great work. When we left a few minutes ago, before the break, we were talking about foie gras and how, thankfully, it is banned in the State of Israel, which is fantastic because it is the torture of geese and ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible, terrible, terrible. I can't even believe it exists in the first place.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to tell us about that?
I think that we're very lucky to have it banned in Israel by law. Israel was one of the biggest exporter of foie gras. It still exists, unfortunately, in some of European countries and in the United States, but in Israel it's banned by law, and we're thankful for that. And yeah. So
for how long has it been banned?
13 years now.
Oh, okay, that's significant.
Yeah, that is very, very significant. It serves as a very good case study for us as well.
You know, I remember a story. Israel's so great with this. I remember a story about a model who was anorexic and passed away. She died from being anorexic or bulimic or a combination. And then Israel enacted a law that they have to be a certain weight. They're not going to tolerate this anorexia and bulimia. There's actually a law about that.
Yeah, I'm actually not that familiar with that, but that sounds very reasonable to have in Israel, because we really want to make people safe and
healthy.
Care for themselves. Yeah, healthy, fit.
So is there anything else that's on the front line in Israel in terms of animal rights that you'd like to share?
Yes, I think that some things are very special in Israel regarding how friendly and open it is for animal rights. Like the Israeli Defense Force, Israel, the IDF, is very open and is very vegan friendly. Today we have soldiers that are vegan and are being provided with leatherless shoes and woolless berets. Of course, the vegan options regarding eating are great, are huge. People who are being recruited, they're being asked if they prefer vegan or vegetarian meals. That's huge for us, and it's really amazing to see how inviting and how open the IDF is for embracing and respecting this lifestyle.
So I know probably everybody knows this, that the IDF is the Israeli Defense Force. How does that compare to other armies? Do you have any idea?
I know that in the US they're really struggling to get vegan options on the menus and on meals. It's not something that is going on very easy.
So this reminds me of the don't ask, don't tell policy with gay people in the IDF, which I found a little bit funny, that here in America we were late in coming to the don't ask, don't tell, just stop, leave everybody alone, who cares? But in Israel for a long time they had this don't ask, don't care. We don't ask and we don't care policy, so they were ahead on that too. Also with women. The IDF was ahead with women.
Yes, we have women pilots.
Parachutes, yeah. So it's pretty extraordinary.
Yes, I think it's also a part of course, that it is a mandatory service, but it's also an honor for people to serve in the IDF.
And you served for 4 years, yeah?
Yes, I served for 4 years as a lieutenant officer. Yeah, it was a great time in my, yeah. Another thing, if I may, another thing that is worth mentioning of Israel is the growth of the vegan movement in Israel in the last 5 years is being huge. It created a lot of international buzz and media coverage. And Israel today, and Tel Aviv specifically, is declared as probably one of the most vegan-friendly places to be. And it's the Daily Meal called it the best place to travel for vegan travelers. The vegan options, are by definition are very good in Israel. The falafel, hummus are vegan, and they are the national food. But also many other vegan restaurants, vegan-friendly cafes, ice cream, pizza. Domino's Pizza has vegan pizza in Israel, and it's the first and the only place in the world where you can have vegan pizza.
So I know you weren't always a vegan guy. Were you always a vegetarian? I won't tell anybody except everybody that's watching.
No, to tell you the truth, I wasn't a vegetarian. Again, when I discovered this information about animals, I told myself that I will try to practice veganism for a month, and it went on really good. So I wasn't vegetarian before. I always cared about animals. I always was against vivisection. I donated to nonprofits in that area, and I always loved animals and cared for social issues, and it was really close to my heart.
Wonderful. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and maybe when we come back you can tell us a little bit about the movement in Israel with the Arab Israelis and the Jewish Israelis and Christian Israelis that are coming together over these issues.
For sure, I will be happy to.
All right, we'll be right back. Please don't leave us. All right, welcome back to Stand With Us on JLTV, and we're here with ChenCohen talking about a movement that has been pretty darn successful in Israel. You just mentioned that Domino's Pizza in Israel, only in Israel, offers vegan pizza. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hi, Domino's. You can now sponsor this show. But that is really nice. It shows you that there is a trend going on inside Israel.
Exactly, yeah. They even offer more vegan options now with other pastries that they have. So it's really successful, and yeah.
That's great. So talk to us about the movement and how people are coming together over animals. Talk to us about marches and things like that I know you've been involved in.
Yeah, one march worth mentioning is the last national march, which had more than 10,000 people. But another march I think is even more personally close to my heart, as I was very much involved with it. It's the joint Israeli-Arab march, where Jewish people, Muslims, Christians are coming together for one cause, for the animals. We had that march running for 2 years now. We had hundreds of people coming and coming together and saying that we have a just cause and a common cause to save animals, and that they, again, are the weakest in our society today. And, to see people from different religions, different nations, to overcome their differences and marching together and shouting together all, the slogans and the phrases in all the languages, in both languages. It's really very exciting, very moving.
So how many people show up to these marches?
We had like 1,200, yeah.
And did you get any videotape or anything like that?
Yes, I can provide you with videotapes of some of the marches. It did have media coverage, even worldwide media coverage.
אין לנו זכות לקבול, להרעיב, לחשמל, לגדוע איברים. אין לנו זכות לקחת חיים.
פעם ראשונה, השילוב היהודי-ערבי למען בעלי חיים, וזו התחלה פנומנלית, והיא תמשיך והיא תתחזק.
As again, it is a very remarkable event, and we were very, again, lucky to cooperate with the movement, with the animal rights movement in the other, with other groups, with the Arab group, and we're very, very happy to do that.
Is it an annual march or more than annual?
It has been held for 2 years now. I think that it will become, an annual march. So
very nice.
Yeah.
How was it working together with everybody leading up to the march? How was that?
It was very stressful, but it was very inspiring because we came together for the same cause, and we all knew that this is what matters. This is what's important to us, and color doesn't matter, nation doesn't matter. We're all people. We all love animals. We all cherish life.
Yeah.
So this is what led us to it.
Wow, it's very powerful. Where do you see it going from here? Do you have any target goals? Are there things in the future that you would like to see happen, or your life in this?
Yes. I think that we're very progressing in the matter of how we see animals and conceive them. And I think that more and more people today are seeing animals not as commodities, but as living creatures who also fear, can feel pain, who also can feel happiness, and like our dogs or cats, also every other animal, including pigs, chicken, calves, fish, feel. And more people are now discovering this and making compassionate choices and replacing their meat meals with vegetarians or vegan meals. And
you have
we're
Meatless Monday. What is that catching on, Meatless Monday?
In Israel, yes, for sure, and it's also very successful in the United States. Just this past days, Massachusetts has passed a ballot measure to not confine any animals in factory farms. I see a lot of progress regarding animals and agriculture, and I think that we're very on a good path.
This is really an issue of awareness, because you're right. Everybody loves animals. There are zoos, there are places where people go and feed ducks. I mean, people really love animals, but they need to start putting together this concept. Okay, so I love animals, so what does that mean in my life?
Exactly.
How am I going to interpret that in my life? So
people don't used to make the connection between what we eat and the animals that are suffering for that, and what they went through till they got to our plate. And I think it's, as you said it pretty good, it's awareness, because we are not aware of the conditions, of the horrifying and inhumane practices that animals are going through in factory farms. and
in shipments.
And in shipments also.
The stress of the shipment.
The live exports from Australia, from Romania, from other countries to countries who want to slaughter the animals in their country. So the calves and the sheep are being shipped in weeks in those ships, and they're not being taken care of veterinary-wise.
It's inhumane.
It's totally inhumane.
And the more people know, the better it is. So I'm so happy that we were able to do this together, because hopefully this tape alone will be able to be something that you can utilize to bring awareness to people. And
yes.
And so I want everybody watching this to think about, just think about doing maybe one thing that would fall in the category of human rights and animal rights, because this is so important.
There's a phrase saying, if you can't do everything, don't do nothing. Do something, do anything.
Yeah.
And even going meatless Mondays.
If you can't do everything,
yeah, if you
do
can't,
something. If you can't do
yes.
Yes.
Do something, do anything, because we can all do something.
That's right.
Go Meatless Monday, yeah.
Well, congratulations on all the great things that you have done and will continue to do.
Thank you very much.
And once again, everybody, please remember Stand With Us and JLTV. We ask you for your support. That's very, very important, so we can continue bringing awareness for important things like animal rights. And remember, you have an invitation to go to the website and order something at no cost. Just say you were watching JLTV Stand With Us and you'd like to order Israel 101 or the answers to tough questions. And we'll see you next time on JLTV.